Greetings, guys. It's Wednesday. It is another week since we last spoke, and what a week it's been. Simon is 2 weeks old today, and you know, we've just been kind of figuring stuff out, figuring out what our routine looks like now within the constraints of him and his needs. And so a lot of stuff has kind of changed organically, I feel like. The first being that we just started to notice, especially in his night feedings, because they are so you feel every minute of a night feeding when you like are trying to stay awake and you can't, that he was not getting full properly on the breast, like straight from the breast. Was not a supply issue. He would come away from the breast with, like, you know, syrupy hind milk on his mouth. Like, he was doing fine as far as like getting what he needed in that moment, but he was sleepy because he's early, you know what I mean? He still hasn't even hit his due date yet. And also breastfed babies tend to apparently like feed more often because they kind of get satisfied a little more quickly and then they want to come back sooner. That was giving me major anxiety. It just, I mean, not that I want to, like, you know, put my 2-week-old to some kind of schedule, but especially in the middle of the night, he was having this, I mentioned it in the last vlog, this pattern of waking up at about 12:30 or 1, nursing for like 45 minutes, which is agonizing. I mean, it is just absolutely so hard at that. Like, it's just, you've barely completed a sleep cycle as an adult human, and then you're supposed to stay up for 45 minutes and make sure that this thing stays in the perfect position on your nipple and keep waking him up because he wants to fall asleep there too. And it's just, it's a lot. The problem was that he would wake up again in 30 minutes after I got done and he'd want to go again. And even the doctor told me, like, that's not good because it, you know, you need sleep in order for your milk supply to stay good. And then also he will like wear your nipples out and stuff like that. And so to me, it just seemed kind of unsustainable after a while. You just can't stay up all night nursing, you know? And there's all this stuff where you're reading and they're telling you don't do that. And you're like, well, what are my options, you know? Like, what am I supposed to do? You know, he's on a growth spurt, quote unquote, but like, I'm okay with him being on, I want to accommodate him being on a growth whatever, you know? I want him to be able to get all the weight on him that he needs. He was early, he's small, he had jaundice, he lost 6% of his body weight, which is not crazy, but we you know, when he sticks his leg out, you can see little folds of skin. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't have brown fat under it, and you want a chunky baby. And there was just, you know, this mix happening of feeding him, and then when he wasn't full, even though I'd fed him for such a long time and stressed myself out about getting my pillows together and everything like that, you know what I mean? Because there's nursing pillows and there's just all these accoutrements and everything. And then having to supplement with a bottle of breast milk anyway. And it was kind of killing me. It was kind of killing my soul. And so I had like a long heart-to-heart with Hallie yesterday, and I was like, look, we're gonna start bottle feeding him at night, but in order for my supply to stay, does that mean that I have to pump at night too? And she's like, yeah, it does, at least in the short term, until you are, like, you know, more of an expert on the nature of your supply, because that's the whole thing, right? You feed him a bottle, you feed him like 75 milliliters of breast milk from a bottle, he sleeps for 3 hours. That is a schedule I can get behind. I want him to sleep at night, you know? And he was just doing this like 2.5 hour situation, this like, you're just constantly chasing feeding, you know, at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was killing me, and it was really killing Mike. He has a lot of trouble waking up and going back to sleep. Like, I think that the hormones have made it so that like my body was prepared for it. We talked about this, but like he is just not coping. And so we just really needed to simplify. And so I pretty much, you know, bit the bullet on the fact that I'm going to have to pump at night, which was just something oh my God, giant bug, no. No, go away. I realized like I need to come to terms with the fact that I need to pump at night. I'm gonna make that as easy on myself as I possibly can by, you know, getting all my pumping stuff nice and clean, getting doubles of my pumping stuff so that I don't have to wash them in the middle of the night, and making sure that I have like my pumping bra ready and stuff just so that I can, because, okay, there's a big difference between the amount of attention that is required. Sorry, I'm still really conscious of that bug. It's like really chaotic. But the amount of attention that is required, like I said, to keep an infant, a very small human, in the right position and keep them attentive for like 45 minutes versus Mike feeding him a bottle, which he is like, I mean, he just absolutely pounds it, and burping him and then putting him back to sleep while I literally hook myself up to an automatic milker and chill for 30 minutes. In the middle of the night, it actually is a huge difference. My mom did go home. We kind of hit a little bit of a wall where my independence just kind of overwhelmed me and my need for like space. And I'm gonna try and talk about this without getting emotional, but my mom, nope, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Yeah, my mom is such a saint. I basically just like had a meltdown because my milk stopped. And it's just because I was so stressed out. Everybody needed something from me and I just wanted to be with my baby, and I was just very stressed out. And it was just weird how having someone there helping me, you would think that that would be helpful, but I mean, it was to an extent, but after a week, I just hit this point where I was like, I need quiet and I need to be alone with my baby, and I'm ready to establish our routines and everything. And I wish there was an easier way to talk about that kind of stuff with my mom or with anybody, but it's just a really hard thing to tell somebody, like, hey, you know, I need you to go, like, I need space. And she's so incredible. You know, she packed the car up the next day, not passive aggressive at all, you know, and she left. And you know, about halfway through the day, Mike got concerned because he was like, it was the same day as the storm in Louisiana, and she has to drive through Louisiana, and Mike's like, is your mom just driving directly into a hurricane? And I was like, that's actually a really good point, I didn't even think about that. And so I called her. This made me really upset, but she had gone to a hotel in Austin and stayed the night there just to get out of my way. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't called her and asked her, you know, but she got up super early the next morning and drove back to Florida and made it there in record time, very safely and everything. But that was so hard. It was so hard. You know, I aspire to be that selfless someday. Just an incredible person, just so much grace. Oh, God. I need to compose myself. I also felt really bad because it had been since Christmas, you know, that I'd been able to even see anyone in my family because of COVID, and I felt like, you know, twice as bad kicking her out for that reason. All right, Chaos Bug. I thought we talked about this. Yeah, so those are two kind of bigger updates. I also want to use this vlog to kind of share some cool items with y'all, like I said that I was going to, that have just become either indispensable or really made my life easier recently, as far as, you know, as far as Simon is concerned. But yeah, I'll share that kind of stuff with you guys in a little bit. I just wanted to kick this off, get a few things kind of out of the way, and I'm gonna kind of recompose myself. Okay, I'm inside now, and I wanted to give you guys kind of, I don't know, a tour slash overview of the products that I have been interacting with lately as far as postpartum and stuff is concerned, and tell you which ones are like absolutely indispensable in my life, and also the things expectation versus reality. The things that didn't really go the way that I expected them to, just because of the way things work out. So let's begin. This is Simon's Snoo. If you're unfamiliar with this thing, I did kind of talk about it in the last video, but it comes with 3 of these sleep sacks. He has this issue. No matter how many times we burp him or anything, he just loves to kind of spit milk up in the middle of the night. And so like we wash it regularly, but it just keeps staining. I need to wash it again. But anyway, yeah, so this sleep sack, honestly, this is like more safe than me holding him. This kind of velcros across him and holds his little arms down, and they love being swaddled. They love it. I don't know, I mean, I don't know about everybody's kids, but Simon really likes it. And then when you turn it on, it won't turn on unless those little clips are engaged. Basically how this like slides on, and it does that. And then if he gets really upset, which honestly doesn't happen yet, it hasn't really happened, it will kind of change its level of like that, of like the sounds that it makes and shaking and stuff like that to kind of calm him back down. But basically the only reason that Simon would be upset right now is because he has needs, and it's not designed to do that. It's not designed to calm him if he's hungry or if he's got a dirty diaper, you know, and those are pretty much the only things he would complain about. In fact, he doesn't really even care when he has a dirty diaper. We have to stay on top of that because he could care less. But the main reason that he wakes up and is fussy is just because he's hungry. So, you know, if he's hungry, you feed him. Problem solved. Moving on. I do pretty much a load of laundry every single day, but it is really funny because all of the laundry, if it's not me and Mike's, is just so tiny. So you're like, oh, there's so many clothes, and it's like this tiny little wad at the bottom of the washer. This is kind of his station right now. I did, I need to like, I don't know, I need to consolidate, but I cleaned him out this little drawer right here, and it's got basically all of his clothes that fit him right now. Those are my bamboobies. I need to put those in a different drawer. So he tends to sleep in long sleeve stuff because he's a preemie, and so we want to keep him nice and warm. And then he's got a bunch of these little onesies. He wears newborn stuff right now. Preemie stuff is too small for him. Mainly, I mean, it would fit him, but it's a pain to get it on and off, and it really upsets him. So we don't do that. We just go ahead and let him wear stuff that's a little bit bigger. And these are the best mittens that we have found. There are so many mittens on the market for a kid, and like these are the ones that they gave us in the hospital. By the way, they wear mittens because if they don't, they'll scratch the heck out of their face. At least he does. This is another one that like someone sent us, these really cute ones, and they have like a matching hat, I think, probably. But the problem is he can just work them off. Like he pitches them off constantly, and you're just like, you spend the whole day trying to keep them on. So I found these on Amazon, and they're basically little hand-shaped socks. And he looks like, what's that Pokemon? Hitmonchan. That's what he looks like. He looks like he's gonna, you know, beat you up, and it's so cute. But I have this adorable video of him hiccuping, and he tends to hold these on either side of his head, and he just looks hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, these are fantastic. They're really plushy. They keep him from scratching his face. They keep him also from sucking his fingers or sucking his thumb, which is a self-soothing thing, but we really don't want him to get into thumb sucking. Also, this is a pacifier that they gave us in the hospital. He is so not interested. If he wants to suck on something, he wants milk to be coming out of it. Not interested, which is great because I didn't have a pacifier growing up. My sister didn't. My mom just didn't do pacifiers. So not to say that we never will, but like, you know, if he doesn't want it, we're not going to force it. These are the greatest socks. I have no idea where they're from. I've been texting everybody. We have so many gifts. We're so fortunate, just so blessed. There is so much stuff that we literally don't know where some of it came from. And when my mom got here, she like unpacked it all. And so we weren't here yet. We were still in the hospital. And so, you know, these came in a package. She threw the package away. We have no idea where they came from, but they are the best socks. And there are a lot of them, and they're the ones we've been putting him in at night because, again, he needs to stay warm. But anyway, burp cloths, very important. Some of these my mother actually knitted. And then these are all clothes that he can't wear yet, that are too big for him. I have the little sweater that Aaron crocheted for me back here waiting. He's gonna need to be like a toddler for that. And then my mom She's just been knitting everything in sight. And so she knitted this little pumpkin hat for Halloween, but obviously it is quite large. And then this is just a little toy. I don't know why that's in there, but someone gave us this cute little toy. Mike's mom and his brother have been sending us these books that are like personalized books about Simon, and I can't talk about it. I'll cry. It's just too cute. My sister sent these little hats. Unfortunately, like, she sent a bunch of onesies that are amazing, but these are unfortunately too small for him and his giant noggin. We have. This is, again, things that did not go to plan. Because you think, right, you're like, oh, I'm gonna be this eco mommy. I'm gonna be so earth conscious. I'm not gonna be like other moms. Yes, you are. Oh my God. I mean, it's going to taper off and we're going to be able to get our like hands around, you know, optimizing our process ultimately. But in the short term, when you're just in survival mode, yeah, you make a lot of waste. It just is what it is, and it sucks. And fortunately, his diapers are so tiny and everything bundles up. You know, you put the little wipe in there and you bundle everything up, but like, we thought we were gonna cloth diaper. We were wrong. We're on Huggies, you know? It's just something that, like, the best laid plans, and then he comes 4 weeks early and you just do what you do. And then these right here are basically, you know, puppy pads in lieu of bringing the changing table down here. We might make some room on this dresser for his changing table, but right now it's just so much easier to throw one of these down on the bed. Obviously, you don't throw this away every single time. It basically lasts until he has some kind of episode. You can use one for a very, very long time, but like when a baby has an episode, you want something waterproof. When I say an episode, I mean you open his diaper and he's still going. He's still pooping, he's still whatever, he's still peeing. Like little boys, that little wiener is rogue. And so yeah, it's just this constant sort of like fingers crossed battle of just being like, push the penis down, get it in the right place before you close the diaper, or else he will, like yesterday. It sounds chaotic, but really it's not. I mean, everything happens like really slowly and then really, really fast. So it's like you'll just have this like long lull, and then all of a sudden you've changed him, fed him, and then he pees all over you. And it all happens in a matter of like 20 minutes. And you're just like, okay. Like they can whip chaos up so quickly. So anyway, yeah, the Breast Friend, nursing pillow case is back there because I was nursing him last night before I decided to give this whole exclusive pumping thing a whirl, and we still ended up having to feed him a bottle afterwards. But yeah, and then he promptly peed all over me. Anyway, so that is like the expectation versus reality situation on the diapers and the changing. I hope you don't think I'm a criminal. And then one of the biggest things that we ran into was like, I'm sure that there are plenty of parents out there who can empathize with this, but like there was no scream quite like the scream elicited by a cold wipe from the package. He was like, oh, fussy, fussy, fussy. And then it was like, that cold wipe hit his butt, and it was the highest pitch sound you've ever heard. It was unreal. It was like dog whistle status, and you're just like, okay, I can stand that. Like, I can sustain that sound. Like, it's not, you know, I know that it'll be over in a second, but at the same time, like, it's causing him such great distress that my mother ordered a wipe warmer. And it doesn't make like hot towels, obviously. It just kind of takes the chill off of them. And you honestly like kind of have to run across the room and grab one and bring it over pretty quickly, because they will cool off so fast. So you're definitely not at any risk of like burning your baby, but it does make a really big difference. It's the difference between him being like, oh, this sucks, I'm annoyed, you took my diaper off and now you're wiping my butt. I was perfectly happy sitting in my own filth, versus this, I mean, the most high-pitched scream you've ever heard in your life coming from the one thing that you want to feel no pain in life. So yeah, that's definitely been amazing. That little thing, amazing. And the brand on that is Hiccapop. I guess I'll link all this stuff down below because honestly, oh boy, you know, we're all like holding brands accountable. The amount of things that I order on Amazon, Jeff Bezos probably thinks I worship him. So anyway, okay. That's the changing situation. So this is my pump. This is the Motif Luna. And I love this thing so much. It's so comfortable, it's so effective, it does such a great job, and we got it for free on insurance. So if you go to Aeroflow breast pumps or whatever, just Google Aeroflow. You can pretty much run any of their super high quality pumps through your insurance and see if it'll cover it, and most of the time it does. So like all those ads that you see if you are pregnant, it says free breast pumps. They're not kidding. They're free. They're free with insurance. This is like a $250 breast pump. So also all of the parts, all the replacement parts and all of the like extra things that you might want. Like I said, I ordered another set of the, you know, the, what are they called? The flanges and stuff like that, so that I didn't have to wash them in the middle of the night. It's all on Amazon, which is great. So I love that. This little Vava light, because basically when you're nursing or feeding at night or whatever, you kind of want them to not get the idea that it's daytime. You want them to know that nighttime equals everybody's asleep. But this guy is awesome, and it actually has like a dimmer on it too, and so we can like move this around. It charges through a USB, and it has, you know, been running on one charge this whole time. That is that. I've been trying out the Solly Wrap. This thing is really cool. I need it to not be 8 million degrees outside in October so that I can actually wear my baby, but he falls asleep instantly and it's incredible. And then this has also proven to be awesome. This is so fun. It's so good. So this was on our registry. This is the Dagny Dover. I think it's like the large size of the diaper bag. I was like, do I really need a large size? You do. Because then I can shove my purse in here and it's like all one thing. But Carissa actually bought this for us, Carissa from Thrive. And she's a big Dagny Dover fan anyway. Like she was one of the first people to tell me about the brand. And she, yeah, this thing is really great. And like I've used it a couple of times, and every time I do, people just compliment me on it. They're like, that's a great diaper bag. And I'm like, yes, it is. This thing we haven't gotten as much use out of yet just because he's so tiny, but it is really good to kind of set him down. It's got like 800 different settings on it. So it's like, you can turn this on. Oh, it's not plugged in. Huh. It rises up. It does all these little things. It makes a lot of other like noises and stuff that I don't really think he's a fan of. But it's a great thing to do like while we're eating dinner and stuff like that. But the main thing that we put him in is the DockATot, which again, milk stains. We have two DockATots. One is upstairs. I lovingly refer to this as the baby canoe because it's a baby canoe, obviously. And yeah, I just kind of like, you know, park him in here, wrap his feet up in a blanket, and he's just, I mean, he's happy as he can be. This is the assembled UPPAbaby, the Cruise and the Mesa. And so the Cruise is this thing, and then this is the Mesa, and they come as a set. Very pricey, worth every penny. Thank you very much to Mike's mom for getting this for us. This thing is incredible. Everything is lightweight. Everything comes apart really easily, and this goes into the base in my car. It also comes with a much larger seat for a toddler once he grows out of this. But I mean, so easy, and just, I mean, it maneuvers like a dream. Oh, you guys want to see my milk stash? Oh man, so they gave me all these snappies, that's what these are called, in the hospital, and they fit the Medela, is that what it's called? Either way, they fit the pump that's in the actual hospital that they trained me on, and they don't fit my pump, but they make great little storage test tubes. And so this is all of my stuff from 1013. We're working our way through that. These are all the ones that I pumped today. I fed him one of the ones that I pumped today. That is my milk stash currently. Okay, now I'm blue. I need a snack. I'm gonna eat some ginger snaps and go hang out with Mike and Simon upstairs. So yeah. Hello. It is Thursday, and last night was a little bit rough. Pumping and preparing bottles and everything. I like just kind of woke up from a nap. I didn't actually fall asleep. Little homie is over here in his snoo, and he's kind of making little coos and noises that signal like I'm gonna be hungry soon, you know, but it's been about 2 hours since he fed, so I'm gonna like, you know, I'm not just gonna like wake him up. He's literally still asleep. Yeah, we've been now 2 nights of pumping in the night. That was really hard. We ended up feeding him within like, I don't know, and like 2 hours. We ended up feeding him like a bottle and a half, and I nursed him. I didn't want to get up and make another bottle. So it's so hard to like, I don't know, reason with things in the middle of the night when you're just exhausted. Also, for those people who've been watching my vlogs for a while, you might have noticed that there hasn't been very much purr monster in these vlogs. Oh, hey guy. He is still my companion. We do not know what he did to his nose. Doesn't it look awful? It looks awful. Buddy, what did you do? He like burned it. I am a very cruel individual, it turns out, because I thought he had like schmutz on his nose a couple of days ago, and I licked my finger and I kind of rubbed his nose. I did not realize it was an injury. It didn't look like that, but it just looked like dirt, and he's gotten dirt on his face many times, and so I rubbed his nose, and normally when I would rub his nose with a towel, it would just come off. Well, this time he yowed at me and started having a sneezing fit, and I was like, oh no, it's like a wound. I felt horrible. So I put a little bit of like a chap ointment on there for him to try and kind of soothe it. I felt so bad on top of everything else, but yeah, poor little guy. He's just obviously, I mean, I only have so much bandwidth. He's just only getting so much attention right now. I've been having these really weird insecurities. So there's like one insecurity where you just think you're not doing enough, you know, and you feel like you should be giving more. I don't know how I would give more, but it's weird. Like you just feel like there's more you could be doing to make sure that he's perfectly fine and everything. And I don't know what that would even look like, holding him literally all day, every day. I don't know, but it's almost just kind of like a mechanism of your hormones yet again. So that's a really weird one that's just kind of like lurking in my brain. Not only that, but the thing that keeps happening to me is kind of this weird disorientation in the night. Let me know if you guys can relate to this, all of my moms out there, but I wake up in the night like to nurse him or whatever, like on a schedule, but I wake up kind of in between and I search for him in the bed as if I have fallen asleep with him in my arms, which has never happened. He's always in his snoo when I wake back up, but the amount of times I've woken up trying to find him in the sheets, 3 times a night, and I find my body pillow, I find the cat, many times I find the cat. And Mike is just kind of like worried about me because every time I wake up, I'm like hunting through the sheets for the baby. And he's in his bassinet every single time. And I guess it's just like, I'm almost afraid of being too comfortable. You know, I wake up and I'm like, I realize I was like soundly asleep. Surely something must be wrong. I mean, my mom keeps saying, she's like, you know, you're in the tunnel right now. Like, there's no magic wand for this. But I do need to start kind of taking better care of myself. I think I'm kind of doing the same thing that I did when I was pregnant, and every day that I have the energy, I'm using that energy the best that I can to try and feel normal. And I think that it might be better for my kind of, I'm like getting emotional even thinking about it, but like better for my like long-term health and my long-term like mental well-being to actively heal. So today's like a bed day for me. I just decided. I went to the dermatologist, I got back, I ate my breakfast, I had another cup of coffee. I realized I was not going to be just like normal waking up today. It just wasn't gonna happen. I had a splitting headache, and I'm having a lot of vaginal pain, just a lot, just from standing up and doing too much. And you know, my body's telling me that I need to heal. Senor Grumbles over here. I think it's time to change him and nurse him. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know where I'm at today. And I'm taking a little bit of comfort in the fact that I think my responsibility right now is actually to heal. It's not to be, I can have it all super mom. That's for another time. And coming from me, that's a lot. Oh, it's a good stretch. Oh, it's a good stretch. Good morning, guys. It's Friday. And, he's making the cutest noises. Good morning. A little home slice is asleep right here next to me. And Mike just took the dog out. I'm eating, I always do this. I always get on camera as I'm eating something gross, like with dairy in it, and then it's all in my mouth. Hang on. Sorry, I'm like trying to calm my hair down. I did kind of a lazy job of styling it this morning, which, you know, everything is a lazy job right now with myself. But anyway. He just ate, he's fine. Yeah, so the maids just got here, and this is the first time they've been here since the baby was born. We actually put it off a week, and so they walk in and they're like, "Was the baby? You know, is the baby here?" And I was like, "Yeah, the baby's here." And then they were, you know, they said, "Felicidades," you know, and I was like, I said, he came, you know, dos semanas, and they said, "Dos semanas," like, you know, 2 weeks postpartum. And she goes, "Que flaquita," and I was like, that is the nicest thing you can say to a new mom. Is like, wow, you're so skinny. I was just like, that's so nice. Yeah, so they were so excited though. It makes me so happy. I don't know, it's fun, kind of like all the little like pockets of people that you interact with on a regular basis that have seen you pregnant for so long, and then they get to see the baby, and everybody's always so excited. It makes me so happy. But anyway, yeah, at 10:30 we're gonna be kind of cutting it close. We might have to have the maids lock up. We have Simon's 2-week appointment, his 2-week checkup, which has actually been 2 weeks and 2 days, and we'll get to get his like naked weight and see if he put his weight back on. I'm running on about 6 hours of sleep. Last night was again a little bit rough because his consumption is increasing. So it's like we fed him a full 80 milliliter bottle of breast milk. You know, he wouldn't settle for like 45 minutes. He just kept, he hiccuped and hiccuped and hiccuped and hiccuped. And then he just kept kind of fussing. And I was like, all right, fine, let's try and feed him again. He put away another giant bottle. And so I ended up, because of that, skipping a pump overnight because I was like not about to pump an hour apart. And I was just zonked, like I was a zombie. And then I woke up this morning and I pumped and I pumped like double. So I have no idea the science and math behind this pumping thing. Erin has introduced me to an exclusively pumping Facebook group that I'm already like learning a lot from. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, glowworm. He's wearing this little robe with a matching hat and he looks like a glowworm. But yeah, I'm kind of like nervous that I'm not gonna be able to like keep up with his like increased demand with my supply because he is starting to eat more and more, which is great. And I have no shame if we have to end up supplementing, but I need to kind of keep it on my radar. Oh yes, he needs some attention. Hey guys. It's Saturday, and if you're looking at this thinking, it doesn't really seem like much has changed since you were pregnant, you're just in your robe all the time and vlogging from bed. This is newborn life. And it is extra so because today I am kind of on my own and I want to share with you why. So everything was just kind of like poised to be a pretty normal-ish Saturday, you know? And then trying to quell my rage. Mike walks in from the backyard and he goes, something happened to Bruce. And we had just been like watching through the back window from the bedroom. We've seen Bruce, you know, we're like laughing because he was, you know, hopping the fence and doing his thing and exploring, and he was totally fine. Not an hour later, he shows up and I look out the back door and this cat has the tip of his ear about the end, about like a half an inch from the end, it's cut and it's just hanging there by a strip of skin. And he is not in pain necessarily, but he's clearly bothered by it because he's just batting at it. I was not emotionally, physically, viscerally ready to see that. Okay, I didn't watch my own son's circumcision. I understand what an emotional open wound I am right now because of my hormones and just because of having a newborn and everything. And just exposing myself to graphic things that could be potentially traumatizing. I just understand that I need to kind of like put a filter there in my life as much as I can for the moment. It's just self-protection, boundaries, etc. Well, nobody asked me if I wanted to see a cat's ear hanging off, okay? If they had asked, I would have said no. But they did not ask, and I saw it, and I just kind of started hyperventilating and had to like lean up against the counter because I thought I was going to throw up. I started like kind of dry heaving a little bit, and then I just sat down and started crying because it was just so emotionally overwhelming. It was like, you know, I basically, again, open wound, very emotionally vulnerable right now, and just seeing that was like way too much for me. And then once I got past all of that, just the rush of seeing something that I really didn't want to see, I got so mad. It all turned in and like crystallized into anger about this stupid cat. Bruce is just a mess. He's just a mess, and he goes out and who knows what he did in a matter of an hour to do that to his ear. Who knows? The cat is creative in his meddling. He's just chaotic. And so immediately, you know, Mike and I are like, well, we need to call around to some emergency vets. So Mike starts working on getting him in a kitty carrier because he's basically feral, and so like you have to wrestle him in there to begin with. So I'm calling around to all these places. I finally found a place that didn't really have a wait, that fortunately was really, really close to us, so that's awesome. And so Mike went over there with the cat, and he needs surgery. Mike, before he left, was like, hey, so if they present us with the option of surgery to put his ear back on and, you know, having to sedate him and it's going to be $1,000, or they just cauterize it and snip it off, what do you want to do? And I was like, cut it off. He's like, glad we're on the same page. Well, they didn't give us that option. Apparently, regardless, the cat has to be sedated, and general anesthesia for anyone, it costs a pretty penny. And so Mike called back and he was like, yeah, it's gonna be like at least $600. And I was like, that's actually less than I thought that it was going to be, honestly. And so they have the cat right now, and Mike, because of COVID, had to wait in his car for them to call him in. I filled out his form, like the entry form or whatever, intake form. While he was on his way there, he called them when he got there, and then he had to wait. And he kept his radio on in his car while his car was off. Apparently his battery was already diminished from something else, because that was enough to kill his car battery. So the cat is at the vet, and he's going to be at the vet for a long time, but Mike can't come home because his car won't start. And he has like a 2-year-old Subaru. We're not talking about like, you know, an old whip. Like, this is not something that should have happened. And so he calls me and he knows that I have like a jumper box, and I was like, yeah, but I also have a baby. So like, do you want me to pack the baby up and bring him there and everything so that, you know, we can jump your car, or do you just want to like call roadside assistance? And so he called AAA, and that was an hour and a half ago. And I've just been sitting here watching stuff on YouTube and taking care of this guy. And I feel kind of like I have no life. This is the first time that I'm kind of doing this on my own, and I realize like what a tight schedule every 2 hours is to like change him and feed him and everything, especially when there is pumping associated with feeding him. Something's gotta give. Something's gotta give. I'm seeing this cycle begin to coincide, like my foresight here, start to coincide with my typical onset of seasonal depression, and it's not pretty. I'm evaluating self-preservation measures right now. I just applied for a nanny agency, for like 5 or 6 hours a day, like 25, 30 hours a week, you know, because I need to work. I need my job to still be part of my life. I need to kind of like make a little bit of room in my life. And I totally understand that right now we're in the tunnel, you know, we're in this like first month with a baby and everything, but there's also something to be said for like getting to know yourself again under new circumstances. And there's just no way that you can know how you're gonna feel before you feel that way, before you're living it. I need to find some kind of happy medium where I can like reclaim a little bit of myself. I understand that like this part, this like brand new newborn, like he's glued to me thing, is going to pass. But I want to put a plan in place. This is just how I operate. A plan in place that makes it so that I feel like when I'm with him, I love every moment of it. Like I want, and I do, I already do, but I also need to, like, you know what I mean? It's like 2 o'clock and I'm in my pajamas. Like, you know, I'm willing to work hard in order to make the money that it takes to have some helping hands. And like Harvey Karp's book, he was like, you know, it might seem really bougie to have a nanny. He's like, but historically, that is the bare minimum because most societies took care of each other previous to like the whole nuclear family, and we've actually made it a lot harder on ourselves. And not that I have any control over that. It's not like I'm gonna go like start a commune because I have a baby. But like the fact that, you know, basically he's giving you license and like, you know, self-forgiveness for the fact that it is a lot in our current society. It's a lot to go from 0 to 1 child. And you know, you have to kind of build in the reinforcements in your life in the way that you see fit once you experience it and see how it's going to affect you individually. I talk about this like I know what I'm talking about. I don't. I just am, you know, I just know what I need right now. And I need another set of hands, a capable set of hands. But that's how my Saturday is going. I thought I would kind of update you guys. That's some vlog-worthy nonsense. Our cat is injured. Mike is stuck at the vet. Our child is in a diaper all day because he won't stop peeing all over everything. And I'm still in my pajamas at 2 p.m. I should probably eat some lunch. I'm so tired. So, Mike came home for a little while. It is right now 4:41 p.m. and he, you know, obviously got his car jumped and everything, and he took Ollie out for a little while because I obviously can't. And at about 4, he had to go pick up Bruce. Bruce had to have surgery, and they were not able to salvage his ear. I mean, it's not his whole ear. It's just like the top corner. So now he's gonna look like a hard guy, you know? He's gonna look like a little street hardened tough guy cat, which I guess is probably his goal, his dream in life. I just like cannot believe that cat is, you know how in like a TV show there's like that really, really beautiful bad boy and everybody wishes he would just stay out of trouble? That's Bruce. He's so perfect looking, and he's so, I mean, we were just talking about it as we were watching him hop the fence this morning. I was like, the thing about Bruce is the #1 word I would use to describe him is cute, and that is probably the #1 word he would hate to be called, because he wants to be this like super tough guy and wants to be taken seriously, and then he comes home with half of his ear cut off, and it's just like, at least it's not his moneymaker, his cute face, but I still can't believe like permanently we're gonna have a cat that's like missing part of his ear. I mean, you know, it happens. It happens all the time. I just didn't think it was gonna happen to my cat. I also didn't think it would like matter to me, you know, but he's just such a little pert-nosed, cute little booger, and now he's gone and roughed himself up. Still curious like how he did it though. Mike said that when he got to the vet, we were they were able to see that he had like some other animal's fur in his claws, so he obviously tumbled with somebody, but we didn't even hear it. And what was so weird, because I mean it happened in broad daylight, it's not like he was gone overnight or something. He's gone overnight all the time, and yet no, we like literally had eyes on him a half an hour before this, like hopping the fence, and then like all of a sudden Mike's like, oh great, what did you do? You stupid cat. Mike should be home any minute. I will film Bruce for you guys, and whatever condition he ends up in when he's here. He's okay, obviously, but yeah, I wanted to give a little bit of context so that I wasn't explaining while filming Bruce when he returns home. It has been a wild Saturday. I have barely left this bed. Oh, also, I don't know, Mike and I had I can't believe how much space is occupied by breastfeeding in my brain. How much brain space is occupied by it. It is kind of stupid. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, like, I wish that I could just use that part of my brain for my baby instead of for my breastfeeding schedule. I love the heckin' heck out of this kid. I love him so much, and I want to do as absolute much as I can to be around him as much as I can. But pumping ain't it, fam. This breastfeeding schedule ain't it. It is so contrary to the kind of love that I just want to experience with my kid. It is just, it's so dry. Hi, sweetie. Okay, well, Bruce is home, and he doesn't look as bedraggled as I expected him to, and actually his ear doesn't look as bad as I expected it to. It's just kind of round now. But I'm gonna stick a video in here of him freshly home from anesthesia. If you're bothered by wobbly cats, then maybe, you know, skip this part, but this was the condition of Bruce when he got home. And I would just like to say, before you feel all sorry for him, he also refuses to sit still, the way that if you were a human patient, they would tell you don't move, but no chill whatsoever, and immediately tried to leave. Like, immediately just went to the back door with his big cone on and everything, and we're like, no, you can't actually just leave and go settle whatever drunk score you have against whatever cat in the neighborhood that did this to you. So yeah, still Bruce in there. Roll the tape.
Jesus, guy. Hey, chill out.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you putting on the cute? Are you putting on the cute because you miss attention? She says, I miss having all of the attention. What a wawa. Ah. Yes. You're still my special boy. You're still my special boy. God. There's room enough in my heart for all of you. Yes. Yes. Who didn't get his ear chopped off today? Good job. Didn't know the bar was so low, did you? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. What are you doing, Purr? You're watching your stories? He's watching birds on the internet. Hey guys, so it is Sunday. I figured I would try and end the vlog on like a slightly better note than I just like left it on in the last clip. Because, I mean, the reality, right, is that things are hard and change is hard, but at the same time, I don't want you guys to worry about me. It's just kind of the nature of things, you know? And I think that the other thing that I definitely want to say in this vlog is just that, like, I know that I traveled and continue to travel through a lot of different feelings and wanting to be certain about certain things, having to do with how we're, you know, planning around this. there is this, you know, pursuit of control that I'm definitely subject to, we're all subject to, and that it's more of like a rebalancing that has to happen, and sometimes that's really uncomfortable. I did slap a little bit of makeup on. And right now I'm definitely having that push-pull of trying to plan and control and make this feel like it's something that is within like my ability to wrap my arms around it, this whole new parenting thing, while at the same time trying to just like absorb it as it comes and make the right decisions in the moment, which is not really, it's not really that possible. I think that that's something that too, it's like it challenges the perfectionist in anyone, that, you know, you have to constantly be so flexible, and that, you know, the best laid plans, there's just no, it just doesn't exist. Like today, Simon, for the first time, just started screaming out of nowhere, like for no reason. Like he was fed, he was changed, he was comfortable, and just started crying out of nowhere. And we're nearing his due date, which means that we're nearing the time where if he's gonna be like colicky, that's when he's gonna start, kind of thing. And it just scared the crap out of me. Like I used a pacifier for the first time ever and stuff like that. And it just makes you realize that like you think moment to moment that you have your head around it. Why are you focusing on a plant? That you think you have your head around it, and then in a moment it can change. And it's so hard. So, you know, mainly just like, oh, are we getting a nanny? Or like, are we hiring any kind of help or anything like that? It's gonna entirely depend on whether I can find the kind of help that I can trust. And then also, you know, nursing, formula feeding, whatever, you know, giving myself the grace to handle that in the best way that I can. Again, it becomes a moment to moment thing. Like today, for example, today, starting at 4 o'clock in the morning, sorry about my white balance, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, starting at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, I said I wasn't gonna pump overnight, but I woke up and my boobs were really big and painful, and I pumped at 4 in the morning, and I got 5 ounces of milk, which is double what I would usually get. And so I did that again at 8 a.m. Got 5 ounces of milk, and I was like, okay, so if I break these up a little bit less often, I actually get more milk per pump, which, you know, would technically be the idea, but you also don't want to scare your body into thinking that the need is not there. But at the same time, like today, I feel like the main thing that's bothering Simon is his digestion, which if he's my son, Lord knows, you know, he's in for it. So yeah, it seems like he's having kind of trouble. He's making a lot of like straining sounds, and he gets upset and stuff. And I know that there are things that like I read all the time about babies. They just aren't familiar with their digestive tract yet, and pooping's hard, period. And he's so young, you know, and I think that's another thing, is I'm trying to kind of rush to conclusions, rush to judgments, based on very little evidence, because he is so young. He's 18 days old. So I just kind of wanted to like, you know, consolidate those ideas and just say like, there is nothing I can even pretend is final right now about my decisions having to do with like, with those things about like, you know, hiring extra care or, you know, nursing in general and stuff like that, just because my feelings on it change with every kind of new piece of evidence that's introduced. And that's really hard for me, because I like being certain about things. I'm very decisive, and it's getting it's driving home the whole like, you just have to go with the flow thing, which is I'm less good at going with the flow than I thought that I was, I guess. Yeah, we're just kind of living in a weird world right now. So I figure anywhere that I kind of cut this vlog off is going to feel arbitrary, so why not now? I hope that this was fun for you guys. Oh, and I also wanted to show y'all, since I gave you so many bump dates, figured I'd give you a postpartum kind of series of bump dates here. So I am 18 days postpartum. This might be the only silver lining right now of postpartum, is just that, you know, breastfeeding is really hard. Everything is really hard right now, but my body is recovering really quickly. I'm about I don't know, 5 or 6 pounds over what I was when I first, before I was pregnant. And I'm back in this little set from Italic that I got, that I basically planned to wear, you know, after I was done being pregnant. You can tell mainly this is my uterus still being swollen. Every time I nurse, every time I pump, I can feel it contracting and like getting smaller again. And so it's just kind of a time thing. And also I'm just not allowed, nor am I equipped in any way at the moment for physical activity. There's just, I mean, you know, there's all kinds of different wisdom out there about it being like, well, whenever you feel like you can, you know, go for it. I have so much pain down there right now, especially today. I just think that like it's real busy, and there's really nothing worse than aggravating something that's on its way to healing and kind of starting back over than to just let it run its course. So I kind of have to deal with my curdly thighs and my pudgy belly for a while and just resist the urge to like go for a run or do like, you know, high intensity interval training or something like that, because, you know, I am very reassured by the fact that my body's got my back. It's always treated me well. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well in that respect, and I'm really, really grateful for that. Can't wait to exercise, but honestly, it's gonna be a while. It'll probably be a couple of months, so yeah. Anyway, guys, this is where I'm at. First main real, like, I don't know, first vlog that isn't my birthing story postpartum, and stuff is just kind of everywhere and up in the air, both, you know, literally and physically. So thank you guys for watching. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.